Hi and welcome in today's video. Today I'm going to show you my 5 favorite yoga props. Maybe you just started with yoga and you would like to know which props to get, and today I'm going to show you which props are really important to get. First of all, it's really important to have a good yoga mat. A good yoga mat is non-slippery, in my opinion. So when you go into a downward facing dog, you put your hands down. You don't want your hands to slide forward. Of course, you need to engage your hands, so keep them really active. But some yoga mats I have tested, oh my god, the hands are just slipping forward and I just can't get a good grip. And the next thing is the thickness. So you want to make sure your yoga mat is not too thin and not too thick. This one's for me perfect. So when you go into kneeling positions, I normally don't want to take a blanket, put it underneath. I want to keep the yoga flow. So it's really important for me to have a bit of thickness. But again, if you want to know more about yoga mats, make sure you check out my yoga mat review. So the most important is to have a good yoga mat. Do some research, find the right one for you. I know that some of the really good yoga mats are expensive, but it's a lifetime investment. And if you practice yoga regularly, almost every day, come on, it's worth spending that money. Or maybe you want to get 2 yoga mats, one for traveling, a lighter version, and then one maybe to keep at home. Alrighty, the next prop I'm going to talk about is the yoga belt. The yoga belts are fairly cheap and you don't necessarily have to get one. You can also use a normal belt at home or some long winter socks, a scarf, anything else. I saw some students being really creative in my classes. But especially for men, I find they're really useful. If you have got tight hamstrings and you do some seated positions, it's really handy to have the yoga belt, put it around your feet, and it helps you to go a little bit deeper into the postures. Also, if you do postures like binds, where you have your hands behind your back, then you can use the yoga belt to bring your hands closer together. This is also really good for people who have tight shoulders. Also with my students, I do a lot of exercises, lots of shoulder openers with the yoga belt. You can use the yoga belt for simple postures, but also for really advanced postures. For example, king pigeon pose. Now I'm going to talk about the yoga block. You can either get a foam block or a cork yoga block like this one. The cork yoga block is more expensive than a foam yoga block. The cork yoga block is much more stable. I do love to use the yoga block for my students, especially in standing positions when some of my students can't reach the floor. It's really useful in positions like Trikonasana, for example, extended side angle posture. You can use the yoga block for forward folds if you have got tight hamstrings. I personally love to use the yoga block for back bends. So you put the block underneath you and that helps you to open up the hip flexors, and it's a beautiful, beautiful pose. And the next yoga prop is the blanket. I think everyone has a blanket at home. There are some special yoga blankets which I have got in England, but here I've got a nice furry soft blanket. This is also fine. You can use this for Shavasana to make sure that you keep your body warm, but it's also good for kneeling positions if your knees are hurting, or if you want to practice the shoulder stand and you want to have your upper body a bit elevated. I'm going to show you now the yoga bolster and why it is a beautiful prop. I know it's expensive and not necessary to get, but once you start to use this in your yoga practice, you will see that it's actually beautiful to have at home. You can use it mainly for restorative postures. The yoga bolster is beautiful to use during restorative yoga postures. It's great to support your head and your neck. So you can rest your head on the yoga bolster in some forward folds, and you can use it to have it underneath your spine in Shavasana or underneath your knees. There are lots and lots of options. So yeah, but they're expensive, I know. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give me a like, I would be very grateful, and comment below if you have got any questions. See you next time.